Yeah, this is the best time of the year. We always talk about, I've been meeting with you guys now for 6 months. It's always been about the last 3 days of March. Here we are, the last 3 days of March. We're prepared, we're healthy, feel great. Our guys are excited to wrestle, which is always important this time of year. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting tournament. If we're winning, that's for sure. So that's the whole point of it, is to stay on the front side as long as you can and bounce back after tough losses, control the controllables, control what you can control, do a good job in between matches, and be ready for the next one. That's kind of our mindset.
I'm going to steal your question. Are you one that analyzes draws when you look at them?
Yeah, I look at it. I have to. That's my job. I got to be prepared for every possible scenario, every possible matchup, and depending on the individual, I'll sit with them and game plan. And some guys don't like it at all. Some guys want to know maybe what their opponent's go-to is, things like that. But we won't put. It's about us, really. That's really always been our focus. It's about our 7 minutes, our 420 seconds, like Coach Pritzloff likes to say. So that's really the most important thing. But I will analyze upcoming matches. Who do we got going forward? Who do we got going back? But we'll never really discuss it with my guys. But I'll have an idea who we're wrestling every time out.
In the case of Anthony and Nick, guys like that, do draws really matter? Well,
yeah. I mean, I hear all these coaches say, "Who cares what the seed is?" I don't. I think the seeds are important. You want to be wrestling your best on the last one. So obviously that's everybody's mindset. But yeah, I think they matter. It's good to get going. That first match is the most important match. Now, once the bracket is drawn, there's nothing you can do about it. So you got to move forward and go with what's in front of you and the person you're wrestling. But yeah, from a coaching standpoint, I think the draws matter from a stylistic matchup and all that stuff. Yeah, and I don't want to hear there's not a bad draw. Yeah, there's some really, really good guys in this tournament in 10 different weight classes. Some guys that are world caliber, some world champions. And if a coach says it doesn't matter that you draw that guy first, man, they're crazy. So, yeah, they matter. But at the end of the day, now you got to go wrestle whoever it is. So we don't put a whole heck of a lot of stock into it. But from a coaching staff standpoint, we follow it and we study our guys, and we're prepared when we take the mat.
Now, having said all that, did you like the draws that you guys got?
Yeah, I thought for the most part it was, we're in good spots. Johnny Van Brill feels like he can beat everyone. We all know who's in front of Johnny, but he's got to win the first one. And I think that's the way we've been, for the last month now. It's always been about the next match and the first period of the next match. Well, here we are, round one, Thursday morning at high noon, and it's got to be about the first period. But I like where our guys stand, and I think we're capable of beating anybody across the board, and that's the way we'll go about it.
How much work is going to get Nick Vermainen to this point, behind the scenes?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that go on with our training staff. John Taggart does a great job with them. Our doctors do a great job with them. Our staff does a really good job with Nick managing what he can and can't do. And we put him, we pieced it together. He's obviously not wrestling full strength. He's got a heart of a lion. We all know that. He's a fan favorite because of that, so he'll never quit. He'll never use that. He's just got to manage his match a little bit differently now than maybe, say, 3 or 4 years ago. So he did a good job of doing that in the Big Ten. But, yeah, there's a lot that goes on to it. It's never a normal week with Nick, and what he never really goes through a full practice and does, is going through exactly what the rest of the guys are going through. So there's a lot that goes into it. And like I said, Coach Leo, Taggart, Donnie, and the group and the guys, they do a really, really good job of preparing him.
Because there was a point during the season not too long ago when people didn't really think he was going to get this.
Including me.
Yeah.
Including me. Didn't think he'd wrestle, and always left it in his court and left it up to him. Left it up to Nick, and he's gotten to this point. He has a goal that he set out to do a long, long time ago. Whether he attains that goal is yet to be seen, but what he's put into it, it's just I'm just proud to be around him every single day.
How important is it, and we see this all the time in the state tournament, to wrestle to win and not to lose.
Yeah, you got to – I mean, I think at this level every coach talks about it, right? Just keep scoring points, keep having fun, keep going after it. Don't clock watch. At the Big Ten tournament, we got caught up in watching the clock, and when you do that, you're begging the clock to bleed, and it goes slower and slower and slower. And everything we've been doing for really now, it's been 4, 5, 6 years, it's about the next point, trying to score the next point. But, it's easier said than done. That's a hard concept, especially the bigger the spotlight, the bigger the stage, the harder it is. And some guys do it better than others. And I just think back to Anthony. Everyone thought, oh, he's up against the ropes, he's getting tired. He wasn't getting tired. He had to manage it. And then it was about scoring the next point, and he did that in the Big Ten Finals. So that's really got to be, going forward, that's got to be the way we approach those matches. and a couple of our guys, Johnny Van Brill in particular, said the other day, never be surprised if you're beating one of these big guys. Never be surprised if you're winning. Never be surprised. Expect to be there. And I thought that was awesome that he said that. That's a really, really good point. Expect to be there. Manage your emotions, but don't think about the clock. Just keep wrestling to score the next point.
Just wrestle.
Just wrestle. Yeah, wrestle and keep scoring points. When you start looking at the clock, and listen, a lot of people do it. It's a hard thing to get over. When you start looking at it, again, it's like almost like a slow death. You just got to keep going and keep wrestling and score the next point.
Rational and Soriano, obviously they've been top guys all season long. Is there any added pressure this time around, particularly for Anthony, considering it's his last
None they've talked to, or talked about. None they have talked about. It's about their preparation has been top notch. It's been better than it's ever been for both of them. We've had 2 really good weeks since the Big Ten. I think mentally they both feel they're the best guys in the weight class. It's just about going out and doing it. And these guys have been around long enough. They've wrestled enough big matches to understand the magnitude of it all. But we're going to do our job. They're going to do their job of managing the weekend and wrestling their match, getting back to the hotel and relaxing, putting the fluids in, getting some food in them, and it's, again, on to the next one. So they haven't talked about pressure. Obviously, I'm sure there's, with everybody, right? With every favorite, maybe there is some, but these guys have done a really good job of managing all year long, and I expect them to do it again.
With those top guys, when you progress with the bracket and you get down to the end and you have these rematches, how much can really change during the season drastically in terms of these?
Well, yeah, there's a lot can change. It's about how it's especially at this level, you see that a lot more than on any other level because guys are so good, and it's a slight adjustment here or there, keeping themselves in the match. You talk about pressure. If I'm an underdog and I keep myself in the match, all of a sudden I'm applying pressure, even though I may be down a point or two. Now the lead dog starts thinking, wow, this is a little bit different than a regular season. So now he starts thinking a little bit more, and that gives you a better chance to win. So it's about keeping yourselves in the match. It's a little thing here or there. It's finishing a period on top, scoring at the end of periods. All those little things matter. Maybe a mat return, getting them out of bounds, maybe dropping down. Maybe you take a stall to get out of a period, not giving up a point. All those little things are things we've been over and over and over again. And those things matter when you're trying to beat one of the best guys in the country.
And not get drawn in the other guy's style, right?
Yeah, you got to wrestle your match. And, that's always been our focus, wrestle your match. Easier said than done again, but you got to wrestle your match and get to your go-to attacks and just keep attacking.
On the same vein of James' question, Nick, I think one of his losses at Big Ten's to DeSanto. He's probably going to have to run into either Fix or Miocic on the road to a national title. Breaking that barrier, beating DeSanto, benching a loss, how much does that help mentally if he has to run into one of those guys again? Yeah, I think the last month he's been different. I think the last month he understands for me to win, I'm going to have to score, and I'm going to have to keep scoring. So, not looking at the bracket, not talking about the 2 seed and the 1 seed. He's got to start the process from 12 o'clock Thursday, and that'll carry into Thursday night, and that'll carry into Friday morning. And it's got to be the same way. It's got to be his routine and his match, his style of wrestling. And if he does that, you'll see a really, really good Nick Soriano.